Hello everybody, I am Shadow759 and we're here to dive into a new theory. So beware, if your mind is not strong enough, do not watch this video because you may see life differently and you will not be able to sleep at night anymore. Alright, now that all the people are gone who are non-believers, let us begin. There are many Sonic games, and that means there's a lot of Sonic stories out there, and the canon is one huge mess. But where did this whole thing start on becoming a mess? Well, I have the answer for all of you. What if I told you the Sonic canon exists only because of one individual, and his name is Shadow the Hedgehog? Oh yeah, it's true, and I have the stupid research to prove it. Let's try to understand the Sonic canon first. Yes, there was always a canon in some small ways. I mean, there's always the introduction of Tails that later up showed in games, and Knuckles, Sonic himself being inconsistent, but they're nothing to be taken too seriously. The time Sega really wanted you to take notes on its canon was at Sonic Adventure 2. Hey, whoa, you say. But Sonic Adventure came out before Sonic Adventure 2. That's why Sonic Adventure 2 is called 2. And that is correct. But Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 have almost nothing in common. Sonic Adventure was just that. It was just an adventure, a one-off. And Sonic Adventure 2 did not continue that adventure. It was just the second adventure. And it's also the center of this web of all the games on connecting everything. If you don't believe me, just ask Aaron Webber and Sega. They say everything is canon when they say something is not canon, but that doesn't make any sense. But we will ignore that for now. So what makes Sonic Adventure 2 so special, and how is it all Shadow the Hedgehog's fault? Well, let's find out. Sonic Adventure 2 was Shadow the Hedgehog's first appearance, and it's, well, a story and a game, I suppose. Nothing too special happens, it's just an adventure like any other adventure, but Shadow the Hedgehog dies, which is indicated by the Super Smash Bros. Star over here, and Sonic hilariously saying, "Sayonara, Shadow the Hedgehog." I could barely hear him, but I'm pretty sure Sonic does not care. Thus saying goodbye to Shadow the Hedgehog forever. But with the power of money, popularity, plot, Shadow is back. Who may not be real or a robot or a clone of a robot or... You know what, that's another theory for another time. But the most important thing is Shadow the Hedgehog is alive, thus connecting Sonic Adventure 2 and Sonic Heroes together. Sonic Heroes being the first true sequel to a Sonic 3D game. Which Sonic Heroes was supposed to stray away from the Sonic Adventure stuff. It was gonna be its own brand new thing by bringing back the old stuff. Which is gonna be a very disturbing common thing that Sega does all the time, but again, that's another story. Now the beginning of the canon being destroyed begins with this link, because it actually connects to each other, actually making a canon. Sonic Heroes is without a doubt a continuation on Sonic Adventure 2, thus confusing many fans because does that mean the other games connect as well? I mean, it has to. In Sonic Adventure, all Sonic's annoying friends are in it. And all the other games seem to connect in some way, like from Sonic 1 all the way towards what I said, Tails and Knuckles. But why is there a canon now? Because like I said, from Sonic 1 all the way towards Sonic Adventure, they are all one-shots. That's how Sega was telling their stories. It really doesn't matter if you played this game or that game. It didn't matter because it was only one story. And it created a canon that way. Then comes Shadow the Hedgehog combobbling all of the canon, trying to make everything linked to each other. But it can't be that bad. I mean, surely it's no big deal that two games connect. Well, that was just the beginning. Sega was not done hammering down the idea of a canon down our heads. They want us to know. Then they made Shadow the Hedgehog, a direct sequel to Sonic Heroes. And this is when Sega was confused. With the Shadow the Hedgehog game, it tried to connect all the 3D Sonic games together, with a little touch of Sonic Adventure because of the artificial chaos, and then a lot on Sonic Adventure 2 because that's his debut game, and a smidge of Sonic Heroes on how confusing it is that Shadow may or may not be real. All of this depending on which part of the story you play. Yes, in Shadow the Hedgehog there's multiple story branches that you could go on. One moment you're neutral, one moment you're dark, one moment you're light, one moment Shadow thinks he's a robot, one moment he's just emo. There's a lot of story in this and they barely connect with each other, but they all matter. All 323 of them. Because Shadow eventually learns the truth about everything, and everything actually has an actual ending, thus connecting everything together. Because many of these events go on to the next games. And unfortunately, they all matter, and they all connect to Shadow the Hedgehog. Almost everything ties to Shadow, it's all his fault, and it's somehow connected to every other games. Shadow linked everything, and he made everything confusing. And that's what happened. Shadow the Hedgehog, the character himself, created the canon of the Sonic games, and also at the same time, broke it. However, Shadow the Hedgehog isn't the biggest offense in the Sonic series. Oh no. I mean, sure it's confusing, but you can make some sort of sense out of it. The one who destroyed the Sonic canon is none other than Silver the Hedgehog. You see, Shadow started messing with the canon by slowly pushing it near the edge. Then Silver came along and just football kicked it out of existence. Silver never showed up in a game that actually makes sense in Sonic. Everything that he's ever been at has always been one big question mark, along with Blaze the Cat. You see, what makes these two very confusing is that at the end of Sonic 06, time literally reset, thus making all the events of Sonic 06 no longer count, right? You are an ignorant person that should be punched in the face because that is completely false. Because many of the events of Sonic the Hedgehog, also known as Sonic 06, all those events by the time reset happens throughout all the games as well. Silver the Hedgehog came back in Sonic Rivals as the time reset Silver, because Silver re-meets all his friends and nobody knows who he is, and nor does he know who they are. This is further implied in the DS version of Sonic Colors. He doesn't even remember Blaze the Cat, who is his best friend in Sonic 06. And let me make myself very clear. The DS version of Sonic Colors. Because in Sonic Colors, a time split happens because the DS version is told a little differently than the Wii version. Both stories are very similar, but they are very different at the same time. They are a time split, and they both matter in the canon. Like I said, people, this is gonna get very confusing because of Silver the Hedgehog's appearance and all his time travel shenanigans. Now, some of you are probably saying to me right now, but Sonic Rivals doesn't count as canon because it was made by American writers and it's an American game, that the Japan side of things had nothing to do with anything. Okay. And the Sonic DS game probably doesn't count because most people will focus on the story elements in the Wii version, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so let's say that we take these things as fact, that we should not worry about the handheld versions at all, and they do not count. And here is why this is completely wrong. So let's say Sonic 06 doesn't count, and the handheld version of Sonic games do not count either. That only leaves us with the main canon games. And let me ask you something. How in the freaky dip did Sonic meet Silver? Because with all of this, the only way that Sonic could possibly meet Silver is through Sonic Generations. Huh? But that's impossible because Silver and Sonic already knew each other in Sonic Generations. Unless Generations doesn't count because it's an anniversary game, then how the hell is Silver around in Sonic Forces? If we completely remove Sonic Generations as well, it kinda makes sense that Blaze is no longer around. But somehow Silver does, and that makes sense and not sense! Because honestly, if Silver was not in Sonic Forces, then all of this would make sense! Silver's very appearance on games makes everything confusing! In conclusion, Shadow's just weird and very try-hard on connecting things, but it makes sense to a point. But Silver! Silver just completely destroys all canon, and Shadow just makes things confusing. And it's these two that destroyed the Sonic canon. Or, you know, terrible writing and Sega has no idea what they're doing. Be sure to like and subscribe, and thank you for listening to my babble.